Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Featuring today a 1 vs 1 on a Langres, a Monday novice fight. So those of weaker constitution and mental constitution, please turn your gaze away. And possibly your ears as well. You might not want to hear any of this stuff. Harsh stuff. But we shall be watching MacDK fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the 718th Bodenständige Infantrie Division. Opposing him shall be Drwhoishere fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 92nd Infantry Division. We're seeing engineers here, we're seeing engineers there, pioneers here and there. It was rather standard start, rather typical. A nice balance between being able to take territory initially, but, you know, not delaying any sort of infantry for coming out initially either. So, pretty standard from both players. That is good to see. Of course, riflemen there. Note, though, the way the pioneers are heading, I mean, compared to the engineers, I mean, there's a bit of a spread here for Drwhoishere, but on the other hand, for MacDK, he's more focused initially towards the west side and towards getting that fuel. Although now we do see the engineers, pioneers, I mean, and hang on. Mouse cable got stuck in something. But pioneers then returning back there. Volkskriegs moving up for MacDK. The Bodenständige, being what was known as a static infantry division, meant it was basically lower quality troops with lower quality equipment, not so great training, meant to hold already fortified positions. And basically, I mean, it was quite common German thought, apparently, from what I've been reading around. And certainly the German army had some interesting ideas, or at least ideas that stood out from a lot of other armies. By going for the high munitions there, pioneers having secured their point. Looks like the first engagement could be around there. Riflemen taking the munitions there. Fuel secure there. So far so good. I mean, usually though, you'd see some barbed wire going up here from the Wehrmacht to protect the high munitions from any sort of direct assaults. Pioneers waiting there. Volkskriegs is going to move up. Second rifleman squad out for Drwhoishere, and a second squad of Volkskriegs out for MacDK as well. Pioneers here trading shots with the pioneers. Volkskriegs moving up from the other angle. Engineers might want to consider getting the devil out of there, and there we go. Riflemen looking to join up, and looks like the Volkskriegs could also do the same, thus fighting in a greater force.
We're losing a point out there.
And a bit of shooting going on there. Volkskriegs might want to, you know, join up with other comrades and do some damage to the riflemen. For Drwhoishere, I mean, he's making a bit of a mistake already. For starters, he's, you know, continuing to take a point while under fire in the middle of, you know, nowhere. But secondly, he's actually pulling away and, you know, also basically staying at range rather than taking all of his riflemen right here and then getting as close as possible to the Volkskriegs, where he might have a chance of actually doing some damage. The thing is, Volkskriegs at range actually have a slight advantage over riflemen, whereas riflemen at medium and shorter ranges generally have the advantage there. So the fact that Drwhoishere is actually continuing only engaging on range, and also MacDK should pull up the other Volkskriegs to get more volume of fire, but still is actually a mistake. It's only, in fact, aiding MacDK in the shorter and longer run. Although again, I mean, MacDK should also allow all of his forces to fight the same target. The whole leaving only one squad to deal with two squads is not really good, sensible strategy either. But we're already seeing one rifle squad running away. The next one could also running into a problem. Pioneers are getting assaulted. Will Drwhoishere quickly flank up and again engage up close? And now going MG42 opening up on the riflemen. And overall, though, Drwhoishere got a bit lucky here, but again, that was partly due to the fact that MacDK again was not quick enough to engage with full. But still, I mean, Drwhoishere could easily have won that engagement much faster, and I think the lower casualties. We're seeing engineers actually moving into flank, but now there's another problem. I mean, they're easily going to get outgunned because there's nothing else to support them, and they got killed. So that was a bit late for Drwhoishere is there.
We are losing a sector.
Riflemen are quick to reinforce. Riflemen moving up the left flank. Bike now out for MacDK. This is interesting. Two Volkskriegs squads. MG bike. So the question is, will he be getting a sniper or will he be getting something else entirely? And will there be a push up towards there? Volkskriegs moving up. MG shifting towards there, following up on the bike by the looks of it. And we are looking at 4 squads of riflemen, but 1 engineer. Mines going down there, interesting, you know, in front of cover, not necessarily a bad idea, but again, I think Drwhoishere needs to be a bit more aggressive and push on. Now we go coming under fire from the bike. More rifle clamped out a bit. They have to be careful because he knows there's an MG about, so you know, not sensible to clamp up in front of said MG. Then we're going to get in the Fulls Grenadiers again here, and this is a case where again Drwhoishere could try and close up with the Fulls Guns and easily win the engagement. And looks like he's slowly doing so, jumping from cover to cover, although some of the troops are in the middle of the bloody road, not really good for them. Troops here getting suppressed, but they managed to render the point there of fuel neutral. Fulls Grenadiers slowly going down. They are slowly but surely dying in the face of this much firepower. And there we go. Finally, we do see Drwhoishere pushing in for the final push, forcing away the Fulls Grenadiers. Other squads moving in. Nothing else, so from the Wehrmacht quarters, could he be going for a very light tier 1? That would definitely not be recommendable against most American players, but again, this is the Monday novice fight. And certainly this American player could definitely use to be a bit more aggressive. I mean, he must at this stage have figured out there's no MG there, because it's over there, but again, he's not doing anything with all of these forces. Inactivity is never good. Now we do see an MG4 sitting up to flank, and we do see the rifleman getting out of there. Not entirely sure why he's then shipping the rifleman over there to run straight into that same position with the MG42. That just seems pointless. Bunker going up for MacDK, likely going to be a medic bunker. Note the positioning of it. That is good. Close to the front line, but at the same time, it's not something that's going to be easily reachable. Plus, there's something that can absorb on-map artillery. And there we go, finally closing up with some Fulls Grenadiers right away, quickly dealing with them and sending them off. Although the bunker does manage to finish in the nick of time. Going for the strategic point. In fact, somehow, looks like MacDK lost his nerve right there. We are seeing a motor pool going up. Drwhoishere, though, needs to move out and push out, get some territory. Going for the cutoff there, though. And then retreats. Interesting enough, he could have tried pulling back into cover or engaging the Fulls Guns a bit close up, but looks like Drwhoishere, in this case, lost his nerve. Out of the way, he needs again to get out on the field and be a bit aggressive, and he needs a Trier center. I mean, these riflemen are going to be so quickly down. I mean, that's just going to be wasted manpower. But we do see a motor pool up now for Drwhoishere. Mine's going up there to protect this area in some manner. Wehrmacht clamping up near that medic bunker. Rifleman forging with the Pioneers. Bike might be the next target, and the MG42 is still positioned there, and now MacDK sitting up with clickbacks pretty early on. But he needs to get that MG42 out on the field. Come on, Drwhoishere, don't stand him out. Be aggressive, find out how your enemy's position and do something about it. Don't just stand him out waiting for him to attack. Not really good. And we do see a T-17 on the way, not what most players would recommend, but I suppose, considering the amount of munitions he has, I mean, it could work if he plans for it. Hit bags, though, is up. We'll likely be seeing a pack out first. Since MacDK has not seen anything that indicates, you know, rifleman upgrades, he's likely to expect armored cars, and of course, in that case, he's going to get a pack. Now, of course, the question becomes, how will Drwhoishere actually utilize his T-17 armored car? The T-17 was not really used by the Americans. They used a few, but mostly it was actually used by the British. And there we go, the riflemen just taking punishing casualties. Again, so little health, they quickly go down. I mean, right there, that was 4 riflemen gone in a few seconds. I mean, that's just about close to 100 manpower out the window for no good reason. Now the T-17 is rolling out, crashing through the fences. Left side is quite open to an assault. T-17 continuing up the center. Looks like he will try to use it as a tank. Opens up, gets a Fulls Grenadier with his 37mm gun. Gets another Fulls Grenadier, doing nicely. Needs to be careful though. I rather get the impression that Drwhoishere is trying to use it as a tank, which is not really how you use an armoured car at all. Pack slowly moving up, MG covering the flank now. 2 MGs up for MacDK. Increasing his tier 1 a bit more. And there we go, needs to get the T-17 out of there. Be careful, 1 hit, come on, Drwhoishere, move it. Oh, you. I mean, really, again, that was just an absolutely bad move by Drwhoishere. He used his T-17 as a bleeding tank. It's not. In particular not the T-17. It's meant for harassment, for flanking work, and he never had it there. He rolled it straight up the center, straight for the enemy strong point, and basically had it standing there like a tank, and he was not paying attention to it at all, considering how low health it had. I mean, that was just a waste of resources from Drwhoishere. Let's go look at MacDK and the Wehrmacht, who's already gone terror. By the way, note, Drwhoishere has not chosen a doctrine. He could, in theory, go for infantry and call in some artillery right here. This strong point, note medic bunker, which is only going to be helping MacDK if Who is not careful. Riflemen continuing up the flank. Troops here getting suppressed by the MG42. And Grenadiers arriving. More solid troops from the Bodenständige Infantrie Division, possibly reinforcements from some Panzer Division or Panzer Grenadier Division. I mean, here's the thing though, I mean, Bodenständige were also largely composed of Osttruppen, as more of the actual German troops were sent to the Eastern Front, where Osttruppen, always, again, Eastern troops were basically sent over to Normandy because they were considered too likely to surrender to the Russians, so they were basically moving over where they couldn't surrender to them. Of course, they then surrendered to the Americans when Normandy came, and were then handed over to the Soviets, who then executed them. Eventually. Or, well, some other nasty, horrible fate. Largely. But going for the victory point, some nice victory point harassment, nice victory point action. I mean, definitely that is what Drwhoishere got control of, whereas MacDK is definitely not that strong there. Ravnia getting pushed off, taking some nasty losses to the Grenadiers. 2 squads of Grenadiers now out, in fact, for MacDK. Giving him quite an infantry force alongside the 2 MGs, the Pioneers. He's got 3 now, 2 of them with flamethrowers. For some reason, one of the squads is in the medic bunker. Now we're seeing an anti-tank gun, which is quite a baffling choice for Drwhoishere. And some of you might be asking, well, why is that? Because, well, at most, what MacDK might bring in is a half-track. At the current stage, that does not look very likely. And even then, I mean, an anti-tank gun is not going to become wildly necessary right away, and another T-17 could handle that. I mean, this is just spending resources on something that could have been spent better, I believe. Grenadiers here fighting against 1 rifleman squad. I think some upgrade of BARs for his riflemen, I think, would definitely have benefited Drwhoishere much more than an anti-tank gun at the current stage. That way he could easily increase the pressure on the Grenadiers, on the Volksgunners, on the MGs, in fact, everything. And note the positioning of the anti-tank gun. I mean, that is way too far back to even do any good at all. So just poor placement. Now we're seeing a tank depot going up for Drwhoishere. I mean, that could actually work out quite interestingly if Drwhoishere can actually utilize it fully. That, of course, is a good question. Will it happen? And there we go, using the Grenadiers to spearhead the advance, while the Volksgrenadiers, alongside some Pioneers, handle the flank. Now the bits. He could, of course, also sandwich the T-17 for munitions, rather than moving up there, getting quite a drop on the Pioneers and the Volksgrenadiers. That one should definitely be won by them. Not much else happening at the moment. Kampfkraftcenter going up for MacDK, and I think MacDK could do with being a bit more aggressive. I mean, considering how much damage he's done to Drwhoishere, I mean, he's been incredibly timid and not really pushing forwards, pushing his advantage, which is definitely giving Drwhoishere time to recover and counterattack, which is definitely a bit of a mistake when you're playing the Wehrmacht, or for that matter, any army. MG42 nicely positioned by the old barn, but the riflemen already made it past, but then they're going to run into quite a sizable German force. 2 Grenadier squads and a Volksgunner squad. The riflemen quickly run off, although you do gain veterans 1 in the process. At the same time, assault up here quickly bogged down by MG42 fire. Granted, one of the Bodenständige might actually have had a much greater mix of MGs. We're talking French, Czechoslovakian, even Russian machine guns, in some cases even World War I German machine guns, I think, were in some cases handed out to these types of forces. Again, they had a much greater variety, largely because they got, well, what was available from the stores, and not usually what they were actually meant to have on paper. So they could have quite a large variety of guns and other equipment. Never mind, nationalities in their armies. Looks like a Pioneer squad could go down, and MacDK's Pioneers died for the fatherland. Pushing up here, running into the rifleman again. Once more, I think Drwhoishere would benefit greatly from medic of BAR and Trier centers up, but nothing from the tank depot. I mean, why build it and not say get a Sherman? And then, for example, combine it with some infantry doctrine, with some artillery to clear up packs, although now looks like MacDK is preparing for something. And grenade going off the rifleman, and he lost a squad. I mean, why did he even have a rifleman squad that far ahead with nothing to cover its rear? Or at least did not retreated earlier. That was just a waste of riflemen and a waste of a veterancy 1 rifleman. Grenadier squad reformed for MacDK. And now Drwhoishere is just utterly baffling me. I mean, he's got a tank depot, yet all of a sudden he's building a weapon support in it without having used this. I mean, he's built a lot of buildings, but he's not really using them fully, half of them. Although it looks like MacDK could lose a Grenadier squad to the flamethrowers. Will it happen? No, apparently. Oh, it happened. He died. And riflemen here getting suppressed, fired at by Grenadiers, and run off. But again, don't build a building like the tank depot if you're not going to use it. It's 350 manpower, I believe, and 90 fuel. It is quite expensive. And I mean, if you're not going to be using it at all, at least for not some time, again, there are other things you could be building and upgrading, like, say, again, BARs for the riflemen, Browning automatics, not a huge circus tent for all the good it does. Well, it essentially might be a huge circus tent because, I mean, it's doing nothing. Half track not equipped, but could just be used for reinforcement, likely sent in from some Panzer Division or Panzer Grenadier. Assault phase coming in. Wiring off the fuel point, at least making it harder to reach. That's interesting. Not bad, not bad. Western support units up for MacDK, but nothing for the infantry as of yet. Although, there we go. Bit of quiet. And we see a mortar up for Drwhoishere, in fact. Larger push up, but there's not really a lot covering the mortar. In fact, it could be easily rushed by MacDK and cleared up. Larger assault going in there. Small assault going up on the right flank. Looks like mortar fire might be going in on the medic bunker, trying to sort that out. Not a bad idea. Engineers on the right hand side, they're running into false Grenadiers, and Grenadiers getting murdered and run off. No attempt at firing on the mortar. I think that's definitely a huge miss by Drwhoishere. The assault continues up there, but it's definitely suffering. As one Grenadier squad is doing alright, and we might be seeing reinforcement being dispatched there to keep up the lines. And there we go, false Grenadiers. Pack uncloaked, but at the same time, note how it's set up. I mean, he's, trying to sort of ensure that one pack can't be easily disposed with. That is good. And there we go, the mortar went down because, again, why? There was nothing covering the center. Nothing protecting the support unit, and support units need protection. So that was definitely a mistake right there by Drwhoishere. And looks like his second support unit, his anti-tank, and also went down. Looks like, oh, he's got grenades now for his rifleman, a bit late. Kills one. Full Grenadier by the looks of it, and then it's run off. But Drwhoishere is definitely in a lot of trouble. But he quickly counterattacked, and MacDK is sent running back for a while. Quite a bit of munitions being flooded right there for MacDK. Now getting a 30 caliber up for Drwhoishere, perhaps to stop the German infantry from advancing on him. Getting Metro 22 for his infantry, that is definitely not going to be a bad idea, in particular with the medic bunker already there. And looks like another Grenadier squad will be reformed for MacDK very soon, going again for the fuel point, but quickly running off because there's not enough to support such a move. Flamethrower pioneer sitting with the rifleman up there while folks going to run off, and the engineers themselves run off. Complete panic going on between the two players. Rifleman advancing up. Let's go look at Drwhoishere. Still no doctrine choice. I mean, he's got 6 command points, but he's not using any of it. And a rifleman squad taking huge casualties. 4 men down to 1 Stiergranate. I mean, here's the thing. If he went infantry doctrine, in fact, had done so earlier, he could have called in some artillery at some really nasty junctures and actually done a lot of damage to MacDK. But again, he's got 6 command points. And here's the thing. As you gain more command points, I mean, I believe it's after 3, you actually gain it slower. It's better to actually just spend command points earlier on and that way actually just get some things on. Finally, we do see something in that case. That is the howitzer shoot. He's finally getting some artillery, but I believe very much sincerely that should have been the case much earlier. Not at this stage, not at this junction. Not when he, for example, could have ended that medic bunker much earlier. Instead of now, where it's already provided 2 Grenadier squads, 2 MacDK. Grenades getting lopped. Not doing an awful lot. Engineers getting stopped with the MG42. Heavy artillery going in, sundering the bunkers, concrete apart, although also hitting their own riflemen. Less good. Grenadier dead. Grenade going off, killing more Grenadiers. Gaining veteran 22 with the rifleman, although looks like another barrage will be needed to call in on the bunker to finish it off. And there we go. Second volley. And the barrage finishes off the bunker, leaving MacDK a bit shorter in that department. But again, it should have happened earlier, I am very much insistent on. Another anti-tank gun up. He's not recruit this one, and again, there's not really a lot of vehicles. Again, he could be spending resources on things that could be used to push the Germans, and that way also deny them vehicles, so the anti-tank guns don't become quite as necessary. But a bit little too late at this stage. Engineers getting suppressed. Need to get out of there. Come on, Doctor Who. Who are you?
They're taking one of our points.
30 caliber setting up to stop the advance of the Krauts while the other men are moving up. And there we go, Grenadiers moving in. Under fire from the 30 caliber, and there we go, Grenadiers squad gets suppressed. 1 man goes down. And grenade goes off. 1 MG gunner dies a horrible death. While the center is falling to the Germans. I mean, he's actually lost quite a few victory points. So, I mean, that's something that Doctor Who has done right. But that's also about the only thing he's done right, really. More artillery going in, this time on the house. Not necessarily the best spot. I mean, houses do provide some protection against on-map artillery. He actually ends up leaving the premises. And ironically, actually loses men on that instead. Rifleman charging straight out of the Volkers, getting mowed down by the MG42. Not really a good choice. And I think that was a bit of a wasted 150 munitions. Will there be an attempt to flank the German positions there? Nope, there'll be another anti-tank gun. He's still not recruit that one, so he's getting essentially 3 in the end. That's just a waste of manpower. Although we do see a Sturm Armory is now up for MacDK. Rifleman getting close and we're seeing Inspired Assault going up right there. That could be dangerous, but they do have heavy cover and some veterancy, so they will be a little less exposed and will be able to do some damage to the Americans. But we do see that Doctor Who reacts to the situation and quickly gets the bloody hell out of there. That's good. That is sensible.
They're going after one of our munitions points.
30 caliber moves up and will set about suppressing the Volksgrenadiers. And does so quite nicely, gutting several of them. At the same time going for the munitions, that's also good. A bit of fighting going on here over the central victory point. At the same time, the half-track quickly reacts. No idea where that one appeared from. Might have been sandwiched by the Germans. Bodenständige Infantrie Truppen. Engineers forced away though by the half-track and Grenadier combo. No repairs on the half-track though. That's definitely a shame, if not downright a mistake. And now, why? You got a Sturm Army already now, and you haven't even used it. Then you're building a Panzer Command. I mean, the exact same mistake as Doctor Who is here, building buildings and then not using them and immediately building a next building. I mean, why even bother then? Although we finally do see some Stooks, but still, really? Mine goes off as one full screen, absolutely panics. I can't take this! And runs into a mine. Definitely not good. Ryan pushing up their grenade, going off. Not really good grenading. Not really good grenading. He needs to definitely work on that, you know. Trying to hit troops that are perhaps not quite as attentive. Rifle inside the headquarters. I suspect that is a misclick. Another mortar on the way for Doctor Who is here. Half track getting repaired. Veterans one for the Stook. Central victory point secured and mined. Although the Germans will be seeing that, so questionable how much it does. And in fact, there we go. Looks like a grenade was lobbed to sort it out. Definitely one way to do it if you know where the grenade is and you don't want to send in mines because you can't afford it. I mean, just lob a grenade and that will set it off. And a grenade getting locked right in the 30 caliber crew. Losing one man. And another. Mortar set up, rather than moving in. 30 caliber making a heroic run for it. And it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation, a bit rubbish for the Americans. They've suffered quite a lot and they've not quite been able to really do a lot of serious damage to the Germans, despite, you know, having called in 3 barrages. They've really only managed to knock a bit of a hole there and kill a few Grenadiers. Again, for 450 munitions, not really good. Plus, again, there's a tank depot which is still not being seen any use. We've seen mortars being wasted. We've seen anti-tank guns being wasted and not recruited. Again, a lot of manpower waste going on for Doctor Who is here, which is definitely not helping him. And overall, a bit of lack of aggression, though we can say the same about the Wehrmacht player. A lack of aggression, a lack of tempo. He's got the Panzer Command, but he's not using it. And again, just, you know, waste of resource in that department. But he's overall handling unit preservation a bit better. He's actually getting some veterans, so that's also good. And he's also getting medic bunkers, which is also very good in fact. But he definitely needs to work on a few things there in terms of resource handling and aggression. But let's return to the fight. Mortar firing away, and the German troops going for that victory point. Riflemen on their own against 2 Grenadier squads, one with a Panzerschreck. Not really looking good, particularly when you're moving out into the cover. I mean, it rather seems like Doctor Who is here is rather cavalier about his cover use. And there we got another Rifleman squad lost. Again, you know, be sure to use your cover. Cover is actually serious business. It's not just there, you know, to just use whenever you feel like it. It really makes a difference in the game, even if you use light cover. But again, I mean, Doctor Who is so many times just not using it. And he's actually losing quite a few troops to his reluctance in using cover.
Looks like we fight today.
More mortar fire. Though towards where I'm not sure. Oh, gets a false Grenadier. And finally, I mean, he built this tank depot over 10 minutes ago, and it's only now that he gets a Sherman. And we also see that MacDK is actually salvaging the T-17 for resources. That is also good.
Here. Rifles, on me.
Now the question becomes if you can actually get anything out of that Sherman, or if it will just be a waste like that T-17.
Krauts are grabbing our territory.
Going for the strategic point there, a bit of quiet. Moving up on the flanks, although this one seems a bit neglected by both players. Another Stook out, and I mean, he's actually getting several Stooks now and getting veteran 2 for them, but again, you know, if you've got a Panzer Command, why not build some Panzer IVs then, mate? And we are seeing a Stuka Sufus up for MacDK, adding him in some bit of rocket artillery, although he could also use the Nebelwerfer. Again, there seems to be a bit of a curious dissonance about what he has and what he's actually doing with it. And there we go, unleashing 6 rockets of death. Most damage is a bit to the Sherman, blowing up a tree and blowing a huge chunk out of that barn. Grenadiers advancing up versus Riflemen and Engineers. The Engineers could in fact try and burn the Krauts out of the crater. Instead we see a grenade against the Engineers. Well, that's about it. A grenade into the crater, forcing the Grenadiers out there. Cover into the next cover, while the Riflemen seem to be reluctant to use any cover at all. And another Stukas of Fuzap could be used from about this position. Center victory point falling into the hands of the Americans once more. Sherman advances straight into the center. And where are all the anti-tank guns? I mean, he must know their Stukas by now. And again, where are the anti-tank guns to support? They are nowhere. They are in his space. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, I'm not saying they should be completely at the front line, but they should be somewhere near it. I mean, this is just senseless. Absolutely senseless. Expecting them apparently to just react to whatever was going on, which is not really how they're used. They're not, you know, tank destroyers like an M10. More rockets going down, threatening to knock out the Sherman, which is definitely going to need repairs. We do see the anti-tank is moving up. 30 caliber left to hold the front alone. Rifleman taking heavy fire from the Stug here, getting off a sticky bomb. Hellcat arrives. Sherman not getting repaired. Anti-tank guns firing away at some unlucky Grenadiers, but largely they're not going to get hit. 30 caliber getting cleared out by the Stug, and again the anti-tank's not really done much. More rockets going in. Finally though, the anti-tank guns seem to be reacting to that armoured threat from the Stug, which is definitely a bit too late. It should have been done earlier. Not really good at all. Missing V1 rockets. The only thing he's really lacking is a real King Tiger. He could easily get a Panzer IV, by the way. Bunker going up for MacDK right there. Now the anti-tankers are forced to pull away, as there's nothing to screen them from German infantry. Riflemen taking heavy losses. Mortar fire going down, threatening to crush German infantry with high explosive firepower. Two kills on the mortar. Rangers arriving for Doctor Who is here. Riflemen going in towards the centre, coming under direct fire from the assault gun, the Sturmgeschützwehr. Running into quite a bit of pressure, and there we go, getting suppressed by the MD-42 mounted on the Stug. And a German mortar on the way all of a sudden. I mean, why not use these? Why is he getting a mortar? I mean, it just seems weird for MacDK to get a mortar. Very weird. It looks like we could see a grenade up here. That could really do great against them. Yes, Volksguns could get grenaded into oblivion. No, not quite, not quite. But looks like the Riflemen might finish them off thanks to Veterancy 2. Oh no, the Volksguns make it out of there, but quickly move on to the victory point. At the same time, pushing up the center there again. Doctor Who is losing that. Hellcat is hiding over there for some reason. Looks like Rifleman might get that victory point. Nicely. Flamethrower Engineers holding up the center now. I'm not entirely sure what Doctor Who is expecting them to do. And Stug moving up with support from Grenadiers to engage the Rifleman right there. Nicely done. But Doctor Who needs to get some pressure up. He needs to pull off a successful attack. He needs to kill some Krauts in a more permanent fashion. And the rockets keep firing. Actually hitting the Hellcat, hitting a lot of other things, causing quite a bit of damage. Rangers outside versus troops inside a house. And here's the thing about submachine guns, they're actually a bit rubbish against troops inside houses. They considerably less accurate and do considerably less damage. Releasing grenade, going off, not really actually killing anyone. Instead the Rangers lose one of their own in the process. But at the same time, I mean, MacDK's just been passive. I mean, he could just directly attack up there, and I mean, the anti-tankers could be dealt with a single firestorm. Rangers continue their mad dash assault, getting a Grenadier with the bazookas. And whatever shall happen, the Rangers actually getting hit by mortar fire. Though could have been their own. Going for that centre victory point again. Though this time under careful scrutiny from enemy mortar fire. Not really good at all. And there we go, they begin landing. Causing quite a bit of harm to the Rangers, forcing them away again. Rather a bit of a standoff situation. Another bunker got this one, a medic bunker for MacDK. But again, I mean, MacDK could easily be attacking. He's got quite a few stews, he's got quite a bit of artillery, he's got quite a bit of infantry. Again, he could just push up and the anti-tank guns would not be able to do anything to him, largely. But MacDK just seems content on waiting about, just giving his opponent time to attack. That's not really good at all. And we're still not seeing anything built from the Panzer Command. Again, why build it if you're not going to be using it at all? Just seems like a waste of resource. And of course, he's floating plenty now. Oh, never mind. He's getting another Stug instead of, say, a Panzer IV. Gott im Himmel. Rangers coming under fire, Grenadiers and Volkskriegs moving up. And we're seeing MGs actually being equipped for the Grenadiers. And MP40s and whatnot of other goodies. But there's still no real attack going on here. We are seeing Riflemen advancing up against the Grenadiers with MGs and Volkskriegs with MP40s. So far, the light cover is rather obfuscating the LMG Grenadiers, though we might be seeing a grenade, MP40 Volkskriegs, 2 grenades against the Volksgrenadiers, causing quite a bit of damage. The Grenadiers are themselves also forced away. Sherman moving up to support that advance. That's actually a good idea, but we are seeing a quick response from MacDK, locking down the assault with a heavy Stuka Sufus attack. Except it pretty much misses everything. That was a bit of a waste. At the same time, Volkskriegs got its advantage. In fact, the Hellcat did nothing. I mean, the entire eastern flank was very vulnerable to an infantry assault. And then when MacDK actually did it, I mean, it utterly collapsed. Again, what a waste. I mean, the anti-tank assets are doing nothing. Instead, they're just getting wasted. I mean, so far as Hellcat and one of his anti-tanks, in fact, all of his anti-tanks, really not done anything. And now we're seeing an on-map howitzer from Drwhoishere. He's just building more stuff. But at least he's using the howitzer. Grenade on the MG gunners, killing one bastard. Fighting over the center. Victory points continued to tick down. Sherman up against a Stug, but that's a Sherman that has not been upgunned versus a Veteran C2 Stug. I mean, the Sherman will not win that fight, particularly if it's insisting on slugging out like Drwhoishere is. I mean, that's not really a good way of engaging an assault gun. As the Americans, you should not be using your Sherman to slug it out with a Stug. You should be maneuvering about it, but of course more Stugs are arriving. Bit of fighting going on here for the victory points again. MG Grenadiers opening up on the Rangers. Doing quite a bit of damage, actually taking the Rangers down to half health. The Rangers fall in droves to the Volkskriegs and Grenadiers. My apologies for the Fraps issues. And a barrage of artillery, I believe, can be heard. What should be the target? I believe he's trying to hit the Stug, which is obviously not really succeeding, partly because the Stug can easily move, and there's not really much to impede its movement, so not really a good artillery strike at all. And just basically a waste of it. I mean, again, something towards more static targets, and a more useful ones would have been a bit better. or part of an assault, so you actually force the opponent to move, thus giving your attackers the advantage. But that really did not happen. Artillery being used here against the MG42 on the left flank, expending 150 munitions on a single MG42, and which so far is not really quite working. There's still one heroic gunner, Heinz, die Helden aus, die West aus Langres. And he's got a bit of a bruise, I think, on his leg. But Heinz wins it through, despite having his eardrums blown up and being covered in most of his friends. But still, Heinz survives. The Heinz might need to consider retreating and reinforcing. In particular now there's a shell moving out, so, you know, Heinz. No point in wasting Heinz, eh, Mac? Now here's another thing. I mean, the way he's positioned, he can't really react to any assault over here. I mean, he's got so much, he could easily have placed out a reserve right here in the center. That could easily have more swiftly reacted to this and to any assaults there. I mean, there's an idea not just having everything at the front, but rather in reserve, so you can react to something, and then of course also pulling into an attack quickly. But let's go have a look at Drwhoishere again. And note, by the way, that MacDK is floating a ton of resources. Now we see that MacDK's mortar is in trouble. Will it be overrun by the Americans? Though we do see that the Sturmgeschütz quickly moves out as well, while the Sherman right here is running into a lot of trouble because now Drwhoishere is doing not much with it, instead setting up to getting knocked out by the Stugs. Advancing too far, exposing the rear, exposing the flank, and of course forcing it to run away all on its own. But so far the Stugs are having a terrible time actually hitting, but there we go, easily taking a lot of damage now. Right here running into an MG42, hidden within the MG42 bunker. Artillery going in. Where's he shooting? He's shooting towards the victory point where there's nothing. And the Sherman went down, so that's pretty much just a waste of a Sherman. Another unit wasted by Drwhoishere, I'm afraid.
We're losing ground out.
And I mean, he's just plummeting further and further into an abyss he can't crawl out of.
What are my coordinates? Ready on your feet, rifles.
While MacDK is just, I mean, taking it very casually again. He could easily have ended this game much earlier, but for some reason MacDK is playing extremely cautiously and passively and almost passive-aggressively. Only attacking very rarely and, you know, doing some actual damage. And despite his lack of aggression, I mean, he's still the one lowest on victory points, despite, you know, doing quite alright for most of the match. I mean, he's still allowed Drwhoishere to hold most of the victory points for quite a bit of time. And now we see what also happens. Drwhoishere is now climbing all of his units, in particular his support units, making them easy targets for the Sturmgeschütz. Again, you also usually want to spread them out a bit, or at least not ensure they can be easily wiped out by one concentrated rocket attack. And now we do see the Stugs actually moving in with the infantry support. Come on, MacDK, Unterstützung für deine Sturmgeschütz. And there we go, only one anti-tank gun left. We've got the Sherman, and that's about it. Rather than fighting against the full Grenadiers, Sherman needs to get out of there. Come on, Drwhoishere, react. Main gun destroyed. Grenadiers are running into a 30 caliber and a flamethrower. The MG has bugged up. It finally shoots. There we go. Anti-tank and turns artillery getting called in, but of course fails because the Stugs can easily move. Not really, again, good use of artillery. Just a waste of it. One Stug getting sticky bomb, the other with a damaged engine, and the third one just make away. Grenadiers moving up. MG Grenadiers finally forced. Well, that's going to be an easy target now. And there we go, more hits. Not entirely sure why MacDK is insisting on keeping in front of the anti-tank as much as possible. This Stug is definitely in a terrible condition, could easily go down. In fact, he's turning it about. I think he's just hoping to do as much damage as possible before it goes up in smoke, having written it off, which I suppose is a nice idea. Also veterancy free, but still not a single panzer from his panzer command. And now the rockets are just tearing through everything here. I mean, he could also call in a firestorm and just finish it off.
Enemy unit down.
Or a V1 rocket, for that matter. That didn't really happen either. MacDK just seems to be lacking something in the aggressive attack. He's not really a good attacking commander by the looks of it. Which is not really encouraging. And now, of course, I mean, Drwhoishere is just taking a massive beating, yet he's somehow still in the game because, again, MacDK is just lacking that drive to really finish him off and that finesse and that, as opposed to just an ability to attack properly. Stuke getting a bit too close to the rifle, getting sticky bombed. Armored skirts will protect a bit. Although in this case it still results in a damaged engine. Rifle going up against some Grenadiers on the left flank. Flamethrower engines moving up to support. Grenade at the riflemen, killing one. Poor sort. Another goes down to the Grenadiers. Their Carnage 8Ks riding out, and there we go. Grenade killing one of the Grenadiers. Leaving behind on a few flamethrower engineers. We're not focusing on the Grenadiers. They're taking a point. Come on, Drwhoishere. An aggressive move towards the cutoff point for reasons I'm not entirely convinced are good. He might as well just made a move for here, and still not a single Browning automatic. I mean, that's really baffling. For Drwhoishere. I mean, really, why not? Riflemen fighting against the Grenadiers, doing alright, though we are seeing more Grenadiers moving up with MGs in hand. And more rockets. A storm of them flying towards the American base. Or just hoping to hit something, apparently. Bit hard to tell. And now we're seeing Panzer IVs actually being built by MacDK. Another artillery strike unleashed. Again, a bit confused. Not entirely sure he's actually hoping to hit. Ram coming under fire from the Grenadiers with the MG. Though the MG in this case not really doing much again. It's sort of only reasonably good at medium and short ranges. I mean, can do alright, but he can also sometimes just do rubbish. Grenadiers coming under fire from the 30 caliber. A desperate stand by Drwhoishere around his strategic point. Come on, get that armor moving, mate. Angreifen. And there we go, 32 kills from the Grenadiers. Rifleman advancing straight into the range of the MG42 grenade going off. Just hang through the rifleman. We're seeing, oh yeah, we know we've got terror, so we got seal. No, he retreats. No. Desperate Rambo heroics from that Grenadier. Panzer IV moves out. Could be from the 17th SS, which did have a few Panzer IVs as Befehlspanzer or command panzers for the Stukes, which were still in technically in a Panzer battalion, or Abteilung, so in theory, I mean, that would explain why they had Panzer IV command tanks. Of course, it's a bit silly. The Panzer IV seem to have stopped moving, not following up the main part of the assault, and he's splitting up his Stukes. Again, it rather seems like MacDK and is certainly running into a lot of problem, and, well, looks like he's trying to get it. That howitzer, and he gets it. Stuke gets diggy bombed. Again, no support for his assault. No Panzer IVs, no nothing. It just seems very weird and frivolous. But we now are hearing the droning of a V1 rocket. Tearing out quite a part of Drwhoisere's forces. Anti-tank getting recruited. And getting blasted by the Stukes. The Panzer IVs are finally moving. Sticky bomb on the Sturmgeschütz. And good night. But this is largely it. And, well, more or less game over. GG. Well played. Debatable. I suppose for this level it's well played, but I mean, overall, I mean, we saw some mistakes of a different kind. I mean, from the Wehrmacht play, it rather came down to some problems in actually attacking. It rather seems like the MacDK doesn't know quite what to do when attacking, that supporting, keeping things up and running, and again, coordinate. He just, sent units in piecemeal, and the Panzer IVs never got there. I mean, what the hell? Plus, of course, there was the whole Panzer Command not doing anything for quite a bit of the game. Again, why spend the resources on it? I mean, this was, of course, a sin that Drwhoisere committed on a much greater scale and more repeatedly, tank depot, getting a lot of anti-tank guns, despite, there's been no reason to immediately worry about tanks or anything like that. Getting a tank depot, of course, not using it at all, and then weapon support center, and, well, it just didn't quite make sense. And there's just a lot of manpower waste, but could have been used better to put some pressure on his opponent. There was no BARs, which definitely would have helped him, particularly on where there were no veterancy for the German infantry. The doctrine came way too late for Dr. Drwhoishere. He definitely should have been something earlier up. In particular, I would recommend in this case infantry doctrine to call into material early on to do some damage. And of course, there was the T-17 being used as a tank, not how you use that. But there you go. I hope you learned something from this match. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends, or share. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay your own or provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and feel free to follow me on Facebook or Twitter as well.